So she's
I mean,
a
they
serial
sound reasonable.
fraudster. That's called fraud. She's absolutely ruined her brand. She has started a fight she cannot win. She does appear like an Amber Heard to me. Once again, Mark, the problem is her allegations in her complaint do not seem to match up with not just what Justin's saying, but with what independent people who have no axe to grind with Blake Lively are saying.
$400 million lawsuit, explosive allegations of harassment, blackmail, and career sabotage. And now, Megyn Kelly, yes, that Megyn Kelly, is calling Blake Lively a serial fraudster, comparing her to Amber Heard. This isn't a script from a courtroom drama. It's real-life Hollywood, and the stakes are so high. Even Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift are getting dragged into the chaos. But what if I told you there's a side to this story the mainstream media isn't telling you? What if this wasn't about justice, but a power move so calculated it could destroy careers and flip the script on who's really the victim here? In this video, we're diving deep into the full timeline of how a romantic drama turned into a legal battlefield, and how Megyn Kelly's no-filter commentary just sent this story into overdrive. So grab your tea, because by the end of this video, you're going to be asking yourself, is Blake Lively the wronged woman or the ultimate Hollywood manipulator? Before we jump in, hit that like button if you live for celebrity drama, comment below with your first reaction to this scandal, and don't forget to subscribe if you want the real story behind the headlines, not the watered-down version. Because what's about to unfold might just change how you see Blake Lively forever. Let's rewind for a second. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were cast together in what was supposed to be a powerful, emotional adaptation of Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, It Ends With Us. Justin wasn't just starring in the film, he was also directing and producing it. Blake, on the other hand, was the film's star, the face of the entire project. Together, they were supposed to bring this raw, heart-wrenching story to life, a film centered on trauma, healing, and complicated love. From the outside, it looked like a dream team, a seasoned actress with box office charm and a passionate director known for his emotionally driven storytelling. But what no one saw coming was the fallout brewing behind the scenes. What started as a collaboration turned into a slow-burning clash, and it wouldn't be long before the cameras stopped rolling and the lawsuit started flying.
On Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence. Didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress.
It all came crashing down when Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of creating a hostile work environment on set, particularly during intimate scenes that she claimed lacked basic safety protocols. The accusations were serious, emotional distress, intimidation, and an alleged pattern of inappropriate behavior. Blake's legal team filed a civil rights complaint, and within 24 hours, the New York Times had the full story.
She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her.
But Justin didn't stay silent. Instead, he hit back, hard. Baldoni launched a jaw-dropping $400 million countersuit, accusing Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their longtime publicist, Leslie Sloan, of orchestrating a calculated smear campaign. According to Justin, the goal wasn't justice, it was control. He claims Blake wanted to take over the film creatively, painting herself as the victim to push him out of the project entirely. And just like that, what began as a promising film turned into a public relations war zone, one that no one in Hollywood could ignore. But here's where things really took a turn, because this fight wasn't just between Blake and Justin anymore. Suddenly, Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's golden boy and Blake's husband, was being named in the lawsuit too. Baldoni claimed that Ryan used his massive industry clout to apply pressure behind the scenes, allegedly intimidating studios and manipulating press coverage to protect Blake's narrative. And just when the scandal couldn't get messier, enter Megyn Kelly. Known for her no-holds-barred takes, Megyn didn't just comment on the situation, she went scorched earth, calling Blake a serial fraudster and even comparing her to Amber Heard. Kelly ignited a media firestorm. And what she said next would flip public perception upside down.
So she's
I mean,
a
they
serial
sound reasonable.
fraudster. That's called fraud. She's absolutely ruined her brand. She has started a fight she cannot win. She does appear like an Amber Heard to me.
Things escalated fast. Blake Lively filed a civil rights complaint in Los Angeles, claiming she was subjected to inappropriate behavior and emotional distress on set. According to her legal team, she felt cornered, unprotected, and overwhelmed, especially during scenes that involved emotional vulnerability and physical closeness. But here's the part that raised eyebrows across the industry. Within 24 hours of the complaint being filed, the New York Times had the full story, not just a summary, the entire complaint published in detail, complete with damning headlines and quotes. For some, it seemed like the media was just doing its job. But to others, including Justin Baldoni's legal team, it looked like a coordinated move, one meant to control the narrative, stir public outrage, and paint Baldoni as guilty before he had a chance to respond. The question was no longer just what happened on set. It became, was this entire rollout planned from the start? Once the New York Times piece went live, the court of public opinion slammed its gavel. Headlines exploded. Social media rallied behind Blake. And just like that, the narrative was set. No trial, no deeper investigation, just a tidal wave of belief in her version of events. Justin Baldoni's team said it best. The media didn't ask questions. They simply believed her. But Baldoni wasn't just fighting back with statements. He came armed with legal firepower. He filed a separate lawsuit against the New York Times, accusing them of publishing a one-sided, damaging story, conveniently timed and lacking critical context. According to Justin, key text messages and details were deliberately omitted to fit a predetermined narrative. And then another bombshell dropped, this time involving Ryan Reynolds. In Baldoni's $400 million countersuit, he alleged that Reynolds didn't just support Blake. He allegedly used his influence in Hollywood to put pressure on studio executives, threaten business relationships, and quietly blacklist Baldoni from upcoming projects. If true, it painted Ryan not as the supportive husband, but as a behind-the-scenes power broker pulling strings to crush a rival. Now the question was clear. Was this a personal stand or a calculated power play to seize control of a blockbuster film and bury its original creator? The moment the story hit mainstream headlines, the internet did what it does best. It picked sides fast. Hashtags like Team Blake and Team Baldoni flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit. Fans dissected every screenshot, every legal filing, every on-set photo, trying to uncover who was really telling the truth. Some believed Blake was bravely speaking out against mistreatment in an industry that often silences women. Others claimed it was a manufactured scandal, a strategic smear campaign aimed at seizing creative control. Reddit threads turned into digital battlegrounds. TikTok sleuths zoomed into old interviews for clues. Twitter timelines became split, with verified accounts, fan pages, and gossip bloggers all weighing in. But what really caught people's attention was Taylor Swift, a longtime close friend of Blake's.
She called herself Khaleesi and said Ryan Reynolds and we believe Taylor Swift were her dragons.
Taylor was suddenly MIA. No public support, no likes, no comments. And she even began showing up at events without Blake by her side.
Now she and Taylor are reportedly on the outs because Taylor Swift is like, bitch, I'm nobody's dragon.
In a scandal fueled by noise, her silence was deafening, and fans noticed. While fans were busy taking sides, another twist stirred the pot. And this one was subtle but powerful. Taylor Swift, Blake Lively's longtime best friend and frequent red carpet plus one, suddenly started showing up alone. No Blake at events, no selfies, no subtle shout-outs on Instagram. And when Taylor was asked about the film or Blake in interviews, she gracefully dodged the topic. To fans, this wasn't a scheduling coincidence. It was a signal. In the high-stakes world of celebrity alliances, going silent says more than a statement ever could. And then came the comment that turned up the heat. As the scandal snowballed, online users started comparing Blake Lively's actions to another infamous Hollywood meltdown, Amber Heard. One viral tweet read, No matter what you do in life, don't go full Amber Heard. That one line spread like wildfire, appearing in YouTube comments, TikTok reactions, even in think pieces dissecting the entire situation. The implication? That Blake wasn't just speaking her truth, she was allegedly manipulating the truth to weaponize public sympathy. Whether fair or not, the internet had spoken, and once that comparison stuck, it was hard to shake. Just when things couldn't get more chaotic, insiders leaked a series of private texts allegedly exchanged between Blake Lively's team. The messages painted a chilling picture, one where Blake's camp allegedly discussed pressuring Baldoni and even hinted at revealing personal information about his life if he didn't back off from the project. Baldoni's legal team called it blackmail, plain and simple. But Blake's reps quickly fired back, saying the messages were taken out of context and manipulated to fit a damaging narrative. Still, the damage was done. The idea that this wasn't just a PR war, but a behind-the-scenes power squeeze had everyone in Hollywood paying attention. Then came the corporate fallout. Several major brands, rumored to be in deals with Blake, suddenly went silent. One even scrubbed her name from an upcoming campaign without warning. Behind the scenes, executives at a major film studio reportedly held emergency meetings to discuss whether Blake's growing controversy was too risky to attach to future projects. This wasn't just gossip anymore. This was money, big money. And when brands start backing out, Hollywood listens. So now the question that everyone's quietly been asking is getting louder. Was this ever about justice? Or was it a calculated power play from the very beginning? Did Blake Lively use the language of victimhood to gain leverage, seize creative control, and reframe herself as the hero of the story, while quietly dismantling Baldoni's career from behind the curtain? Or is this all just a brutal smear job against a woman speaking out in a male-dominated industry? Either way, someone's empire is about to crack. Right now, both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are locked in an ongoing legal war, with no sign of backing down. Blake's original civil rights complaint is still being examined, but the spotlight has shifted hard onto Justin Baldoni's $400 million countersuit. His team alleges defamation, extortion, and a coordinated effort to destroy his reputation and remove him from the project entirely. Legal analysts say this case could drag out for months, or even years, with reputations, money, and future careers hanging in the balance. And in Hollywood, that kind of uncertainty is deadly. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly hasn't let up. In fact, she's doubled down. In her most recent commentary, she flat out said, Blake Lively is pulling a script straight out of the Amber Heard playbook.
She's absolutely ruined her brand. She has started a fight she cannot win. She does appear like an Amber Heard to me.
Playbook. She tweeted a scathing line that went viral. When facts aren't on your side, play the victim. It's textbook manipulation. Kelly's stance has earned her praise from Baldoni's defenders and fury from Blake's fans, who accuse her of turning a serious situation into a media circus. But love her or hate her, Megyn Kelly is keeping this fire blazing. And while Blake Lively has stayed relatively quiet publicly, the impact on her brand is becoming hard to ignore. At least 2 rumored deals have quietly disappeared. A major fashion label that once had her front and center has wiped all recent posts of her from its socials. Sponsorships are stalling, and insiders say studios are re-evaluating her bankability. On the flip side, Justin Baldoni is starting to gain traction as the underdog hero. Some fans are rallying behind him, calling him a victim of Hollywood politics, and praising him for fighting back when most would have stayed silent. In a plot twist no one saw coming, Baldoni's career might actually be getting a second win from the scandal. So here's the real question. Is this just another messy Hollywood feud? Or are we watching a carefully orchestrated takedown in real time? Could Blake Lively be pulling the ultimate long game, using public sympathy, media timing, and legal power moves to rewrite the narrative? Or is Justin Baldoni just one more man with influence, flipping the script to protect his image and bury the truth? What we know for sure is this: more leaks are coming. More insiders are speaking. And this story, it's far from over. In fact, there's already talk of a second sealed lawsuit about to surface, one that could finally reveal who's telling the truth. So who do you believe? The victim or the villain? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button if you've been following the chaos, and don't forget to subscribe, because this Hollywood war is just getting started, and we'll be here for every twist, every leak, and every exposed recipe.